Self-confidence is a state of mind. It is an attitude. And as an attitude, it is more important than facts. But it must be based on facts to be the kind of self-confidence that you can rely upon in a crunch. Your job is to do whatever it takes to convince yourself in your heart that you are absolutely unstoppable and that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. Thought is creative. If self-confidence is an attitude of mind, it is based on mental principles and mental laws, foremost amongst which is thought is creative. You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. As you systematically and deliberately change your thinking about yourself, your outer reality changes to conform with it. Your thoughts create your life, including and especially your thoughts with regard to your feelings of self-confidence. The reason why goals are so important is because of these mental laws, the consequences of which are inevitable and inescapable. You are happy and successful to the degree to which you conform your life and your thinking to these laws and live in harmony with them. The first law, which we have already discussed, is the law of cause and effect. This law is so simple and powerful that you need to remind yourself of it all the time. Everything that happens in your life, success or failure, wealth or poverty, health or illness, happiness or unhappiness, self-confidence or insecurity, are all subject to this law. The Bible teaches this basic law as the principle of sowing and reaping. It says that whatsoever a man soweth, that also shall he reap. This especially refers to the thoughts you think. If you sow positive, optimistic, uplifting thoughts in your mind, you will reap positive, optimistic, uplifting events and experiences in your life. And it cannot be otherwise. If you sow clear goals and objectives in your mind, you will reap clear results and rewards in your outer life. The law of attraction. A corollary of the law of cause and effect is the law of attraction. This is one of the most important of all mental laws in explaining what happens to you. This law says that like attracts like. It says that you inevitably attract into your life the people, ideas, circumstances, and opportunities that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. Just like a magnet attracts iron filings, you attract whatever is consistent with whatever you are thinking about most of the time. Because this is a law, you cannot think one thing and attract something else. Whatever you are thinking about most of the time, you are drawing into your life from all directions. This is why fuzzy goals bring fuzzy results. Clear goals bring clear results. And since your level of self-confidence is directly tied to how effective you feel you are in achieving your goals, it's very important that you know exactly what it is you want and that you think of nothing else. The law of correspondence. Another mental law, also a corollary of the law of cause and effect, is the law of correspondence. This law says that your outer world tends to correspond to your inner world. Your outer world of health, wealth, and relationships will be a reflection of the way you think about each of these subjects. There is a saying that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Your thoughts and goals are like seeds, and your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds, positive or negative, clear or unclear, you are planting into your mind will grow in your reality. Whatever you are reaping or experiencing today is the result of what you have sown in the past. Since your mind is not a vacuum, it doesn't remain empty. Like a garden, either flowers or weeds will grow. Your thoughts are the most powerful forces in your universe. They are both creative and causative. Every minute of every day they are forming the world around you. As Shakespeare said, nothing is, but thinking makes it so. Your life is what your thoughts make it. The law of concentration. Another principle that affects your life is called the law of concentration. This is an important principle in determining the development and maintenance of your self-confidence. The law of concentration, as mentioned earlier, says that whatever you dwell upon continually grows in your reality. Thinking about a subject, dwelling on it continually, is like watering and fertilizing a seed. Concentration causes it to grow faster in your experience. The more you dwell on any goal or subject, the more of your mental capacities are dedicated to making that goal or subject a reality. The law of concentration explains why unwavering dedication to a single purpose goes hand in hand with all great accomplishment. The ability to concentrate without diversion on a single subject to the exclusion of all others explains why ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. Peter Drucker once said that whenever you find something getting done, you find a monomaniac with a mission. Because of this mental law, an average individual with average capabilities, by bringing all of his or her mental powers to bear on the achievement of a single goal, can often accomplish far more than a seemingly more fortunate person whose energies are dispersed by having several goals at once, or, as quite commonly happens, no goals at all. The law of substitution. The law of substitution states that your conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time, positive or negative. And whatever thought is held continuously in your conscious mind will eventually be accepted by your subconscious mind as an instruction or command. Your subconscious mind, in harmony with these mental laws, will go to work 24 hours per day to bring your dominant thought or idea into reality. Your subconscious mind is inordinately powerful. It is the repository of all of your emotions and beliefs and values and attitudes and feelings. All your thoughts and feelings throughout your life are stored in your subconscious mind. The development of the unshakable self-confidence that you desire requires that you step up to your mental computer and take every step necessary to program self-confidence deep into your subconscious mind. The law of emotion. The final mental law you need to know in the development of purpose, personal power, and self-confidence is the law of emotion. This law says that every decision you make, every thought you think, every action you take is based on an emotion of some kind. And the two primary emotions are either the emotion of fear at one end of the spectrum of emotions, or the emotion of desire at the other end of the spectrum. When you hold an emotion-charged thought in your conscious mind, it is rapidly accepted by your subconscious. Your subconscious then activates all your mental powers and begins to turn that inner thought into a result or experience in your outer world. The more powerful the emotion, the more effect it has on your thinking and actions, the more rapid the change in your experience. If the emotion is strong enough, the change can be instantaneous. The power of decision. I had a friend who smoked for 30 years. He claimed that he couldn't quit smoking because it was a deeply entrenched habit, going back to early adulthood. One day, he had some chest pains and went to his doctor, who performed a series of tests on him. When the results of the tests were in, the doctor sat my friend down and told him that he had a serious heart condition and that if he continued to smoke, he would be dead within 6 months. Samuel Johnson once wrote, "When a man is to be hanged on the morrow, it clears his mind wondrously." The idea of dying was so emotionally charged to my friend that he took out his cigarettes, threw them in the wastebasket, and never touched one again. In a positive vein, if you're absolutely convinced that you are meant to be a great success in life, and that there's nothing in the world that could stop you from achieving great things, as long as you threw yourself wholeheartedly into every activity and persisted until you succeeded, you would become an irresistible force of nature. The depth of your belief and the strength of your conviction would dramatically increase the power of your personality. If you really believed in your ability to succeed greatly, you would become unstoppable. The 4 C's of inner confidence. You can develop this kind of belief, this inner confidence, by developing what I call the 4 C's. The number 1 C is clarity. Decide exactly what it is you want to accomplish and exactly the kind of person you wish to become. The second C is conviction. Develop the unshakable belief that you can do anything you put your mind to. The third C is commitment. Resolve to do whatever is necessary. Develop the willingness to pay the price in advance for any success you desire. And the fourth C is consistency. Resolve to work on your goals every day, morning, noon, and night, until they are accomplished. When you back your goals and actions with clarity, conviction, commitment, and consistency, you're on your way to developing the kind of confidence that will make everything possible for you. The importance of goals. The reason goals are so important in the development of self-confidence is because the very act of setting a major goal for your life activates all the mental laws in your favor. When you set a big goal, it will be as though all the switches were flipped on in your engine of accomplishment and the afterburners were turned on to your potential. Clear goals free you from the law of accident, the tendency for things to happen in a random and unpredictable way. Goals give you a clear sense of direction and the knowledge that your life is self-determined. Goals give you a sense of power, purpose, and focus. They make you feel that everything that happens to you is part of an organized plan that is taking you step by step toward the attainment of your highest ideals. Your ability to set goals and make plans for their accomplishment is the master skill of success, without which very little is possible. The habit of regular goal setting and goal achieving is probably more important than any other skill you could ever learn. The master skill of success. Over the years, I have personally witnessed thousands of examples among my students of the amazing powers of goal setting. Recently, I addressed about 600 members of a national association at their annual convention in Phoenix, Arizona. During this talk, I emphasized the importance of writing down exactly what it is they wanted and then making written plans to accomplish it. That was on a Saturday. About 5 days later, on the following Thursday, one of the attendees called my office to get my fax number. He said he wanted to send something immediately and he didn't want to wait for the mail. The letter that came in told this amazing story. The gentleman who wrote said that he had heard about goal setting many times and he was prepared to be unimpressed with the talk that I gave at the convention. However, exactly the opposite happened. He decided to sit down after the convention and seriously write out his goals for the following year. The letter went on to say that on Sunday he made out a list of 10 goals, both personal and financial, that he wanted to accomplish over the next 12 months. What astonished him was that he had accomplished 5 of the 10 goals by Monday, the next day, at 5 o'clock. He could hardly believe it. So he quickly wrote down 5 more goals to bring his list for the year back up to 10. And by Thursday, when he wrote this letter or fax, he had accomplished 5 more of the new list of 10 goals. He felt that he had made more progress in a week with clear written goals and plans than he had made in the previous year. Remarkable success stories. Another gentleman, a recent immigrant from Pakistan, was dead broke and sleeping on the ground when someone tried to help him by letting him listen to an audio program of mine on goal setting. It transformed his life. 4 years later, he had started and built 2 successful businesses and was worth more than $1 million. A woman who was going through a difficult period of her life with both personal health and financial problems decided to sit down and set some new goals and make some plans to resolve her difficulties. As a result, within 1 year, she got out of a bad relationship, joined Alcoholics Anonymous and quit drinking, lost 40 pounds, and tripled her income to more than $100,000 per year. And she attributed her successes to the power of written goals. There are countless other testimonies to the power of written goals. I receive them in person and via email every week from people all over the world. And before this program is finished, I will give you a simple goal-setting technique that can put your whole life into overdrive. Fear holds you back. Remember when I said that everything you do is the result of either fear or desire? Fear is and always has been the greatest enemy of mankind, and it's also the greatest enemy of self-confidence. It is fear that holds us back more than any other factor. Fear of all kinds works on us unconsciously to undermine and sabotage our best intentions and our greatest hopes. In fact, as you listen to these words, you are probably thinking of a fear that holds you back in some way. No matter what you do, fear will rear its ugly head and attempt to trip you up. Sometimes the fear will appear consciously, in the form of rationalizations and excuses that you use to sabotage yourself and hold yourself back. Sometimes you will find yourself avoiding goal setting by saying that, "Oh, I already know what my goals are. I don't need to write them down." Your subconscious mind will tell you, if you don't set any clear goals, you can't fail. This is just another way of saying that you don't really believe in your ability to do any better than you are doing right now. Fear will often appear as procrastination about writing down your goals in the first place. You will resolve to write out your goals and plans on the weekend, or on your vacation, or during the summertime, or when you can dedicate a few hours to it, or sometime in the indefinite future. Then, like 97% or more of adults, you'll never do it. You will start to rationalize and say, "Well, considering my situation, it probably wouldn't make any difference anyway." The comfort zone. If the greatest enemy of self-confidence is fear, then the greatest enemy of human achievement is the comfort zone. Psychologists have determined that each of us has a natural tendency to slip into a zone of performance and behavior where we feel comfortable, one that is easy and unchallenging, and then to stay there. We stop striving, we relax, and day by day we develop the habits that lead to underachievement and failure. We settle for far less than we're truly capable of. We engage in social networking, watch television, listen to music, socialize, and generally waste our time, and then we eventually convince ourselves that this is the very best that we can do. Most people are in comfort zones of their own making. Your attitude and personality, your habitual way of responding to people and to life is your comfort zone. The amount you earn, your standard of living, and your level of performance in your work is your comfort zone. Your level of mental and physical fitness is your comfort zone. Resistance to change. The natural tendency once a person gets into a comfort zone is to resist change of any kind, even beneficial change. And if you're forced out of your comfort zone, like the collapse of a relationship or the loss of a job, your natural tendency will be to attempt to recreate the same comfort zone with the same type of person or doing the same work. Everyone has had the experience of losing a job that they disliked, only to go out looking for a similar job doing the same work. We get into a relationship that doesn't work out, and our natural tendency is to try to form a new relationship with a similar type of person. We earn a certain amount of money, and rather than striving to increase our earning ability, we adjust our lifestyle and accommodate to our financial situation. The tragedy of the comfort zone is that it first of all starts off by being comfortable, but it leads rapidly to complacency. Complacency eventually leads to boredom, to the question, is this all there is? Instead of life being an exciting adventure, it becomes merely a boring repetition of what happened yesterday. Eventually, the comfort zone leads through complacency and boredom to frustration and unhappiness. Deep down inside, the average person knows that he or she is put on this earth with amazing capabilities. He or she knows that there is something better than this. As Carl Rogers, the psychologist, once wrote, "There is within every organism an inborn drive toward the complete fulfillment of its inherent possibilities." There is a nagging something inside that tells each person that there is far more that he or she could be and have and do. And this feeling is within you as well. The attainment of personal greatness. Great men and women are those who absolutely believe that they are put on this earth to do something wonderful with their lives. They have a vision of something greater or better than their current circumstances. Personal greatness means having a sense of destiny and a conviction that your thoughts and your imagination are the only real limits to your possibilities. William James said, "Compared to what we ought to be, we are only half awake. We are making use of only a small part of our physical and mental resources." Stating the thing broadly, the human individual thus lives far within his limits. He possesses powers of various sorts which he habitually fails to use. The founder of Success magazine, Orison Swett Marden, once wrote, "There are powers inside of you which, if you could discover and use, would make of you everything you ever dreamed or imagined you could become." In a 5-year study of leaders, reported on in his book, Leaders, Warren Bennis discovered that each of them consciously avoided the comfort zone by continuously setting higher goals. They never allowed themselves to become complacent. They lived their lives fully extended, always striving to be and do more. To develop unshakable self-confidence, you need to see yourself and think of yourself as a leader, and to do what leaders do. You need to stretch yourself toward the outermost boundaries of your potential. You need to set goals that draw out of you the very best that is in you. You need to work toward objectives that cause you to feel a sense of mastery and peak performance. And it all begins with a pad of paper, a pen, and you. Imagine no limitations. The starting point of setting goals is for you to throw off all mental limitations and let your mind roam freely across the entire universe of possibilities. Your primary job at the beginning is to allow yourself to dream big dreams and determine exactly what it is you want out of life in every area and in every dimension. Decide what's right before you decide what's possible. Imagine that you can be or have or do virtually anything that you really want to do as long as you know exactly what it is. First, make up a dream list. Temporarily imagine that you have no limitations of time or money or knowledge or contacts or experience or education. Imagine that anything that you can write down is possible for you. Remember, anything that you can clearly define and crystallize on paper is probably possible if you want it long enough and hard enough, and you're willing to make whatever efforts and sacrifices are necessary. There are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic timelines. The very act of writing your goals down sets the whole universe to work in your favor and activates all the mental laws to help you. In fact, many people have had the experience of writing out a list of goals on New Year's Day, putting the list away and not referring to it again till the end of the year, and then finding that 80% of the goals have been achieved, sometimes in the most amazing ways. The very act of writing down big, challenging goals causes 3 things to happen. First, your self-concept improves and your self-confidence goes up immediately. The act of setting goals requires self-confidence and simultaneously builds self-confidence. Having the courage to write down what you really want improves your self-image, and raises your self-esteem. The action itself generates a feeling of greater personal power and ability. Release your energy. Second, when you write down goals, you tap into your mental and emotional powers. Goal setting actually gives you a burst of physical and mental energy. Your heart rate and your respiratory rate speeds up. The very act of goal setting is inherently exciting. It sounds a little bit corny, but someone once said, "Feeling listless? Make a list." It's true. It's like stepping on the accelerator of your own mental and physical potential. And if you do it every day, the results can be amazing. Write it down. Third, commit it to paper. The very fact that you have committed a goal to paper dramatically increases the likelihood that you will achieve that goal. Your mind is structured in such a way that you cannot write down a goal clearly on paper, not on a computer screen, without simultaneously having the ability to somehow attain it. The most important question is, how badly do you want it? There are several mental exercises that you can use to set your goals. Number 1, imagine that you have just won $1 million cash and that you can do or have anything you want with the money. What would you do first? Where would you go? What changes would you make in your life? If you had complete financial freedom, what would you do differently from what you are doing now?